I will never grow bored of the trope of just overpowered isekai characters, because when you have a show like Tsukimichi with season 2 episode 4, to just see comedy gold, whether it's just casually strolling through marketplace, oh, here's this waitress who she's getting jumped by, I don't know, a group of people that I still don't really know their intentions, but she wasn't too happy. And our boy Makoto doesn't even need to do anything. Shiki himself is a psychopath just wanting to kill at a moment's notice, and the comedy you get from that is just amazing because no one's going to be able to stop him. The only reason those people aren't dead is because his master told him not to murder them. That's the only reason, and that's funnier the more you think about it, and how he, like, purposely still drops them, like, on their neck, hoping that their necks will snap upon impact. It's like, how they make something so savage, so hilarious, will always blow me away. But we have an episode where, yeah, we're not going to school, we're going to teach. We got the application to be a teacher, which honestly, with a dude who can master any element in any fighting technique, it could work out, but it's funnier the longer you think of it. The fact that there's this test where there's these 3 types of orbs. One you can get with range attacks, one with melee, and one with magic. But the trick is, you have to, like, really have, like, a weak attack, because, for him anyway, because he's so overpowered. For most people, they're gonna be able to do it just fine, like, hit as hard as they can, make sure it gets knocked out. Our boy's literally One Punch Man. He pokes a thing and that thing's gonna explode because it thinks Saitama just slapped him around. The fact that he comes back and passes with all 3, something that never has happened, the more you think about this character, who is considered the ugliest of ugly in this world. Sure, he's not really being called out for that just because of the location he's in, that's not really what's important, but he's considered a monster, right? He's hideous. The fact that this hideous abomination just did something no one's ever seen before, and how that's clearly going to tie into that marketplace scene, has me really excited. And I think whether or not you were a fan of episodes 2 and 3 and what they did with the extra hero storyline, I'm of the camp, I love that stuff, I want to see more of it. I'm glad that we're all caught up, and now that as we go throughout this 2-core season 2, whenever the other hero storyline pop up, it will pop up where it should, because we don't have to play catch up or anything like that. But there is people who just didn't like that stuff, that's fine. If that's the case, this is the episode that's going to remind you why you liked season 1, I'm absolutely convinced. I have a full live reaction to this wonderful Tsukimichi episode over on my Patreon, so if you'd like to see my full uncut thoughts, they're over there if you're interested. Now, this was probably the best out of the 4. For me personally, I think last week was probably like second best out of the 4, and then episodes 1 and 2 are kind of like equal to me. Like, they're both enjoyable in different ways, but they don't compare to 3 and 4 for me personally. And obviously, if, you know, I'm saying the latest 2 episodes are the best out of 4, I think the remainder of the season is looking rather bright for me anyway. The thing I really liked is just kind of going back to that classic Tsukimichi season 1 charm, and that is knowing how busted our boy is, knowing how at a place he is, and how the people he travels with are just a different breed of crazy. Now, Mio, as well as Tomoe, are nowhere to be seen right now. We're traveling with Shiki, and that's honestly refreshing, because he's got a couple screws loose up there, and I love that, because just wandering a market, and just how quickly, because you're probably like me, or at least some of you, where, like, when you see certain situations, we're like, you know, let's just bust their face in, or let's just off them, because why not? Like, they're probably no good for this world. And a character like Shiki just is saying what half the time I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, I'm mostly joking, but this boy's like literally ready to blow someone apart. And if you disrespect him, if you talk back to him, honestly, when Shiki was talking to that one woman who came in saying, hey, apologies for this man, he doesn't really know manners, even though you guys were kind of being dicks, she said it in a polite way, but that was basically the intention. The way they're looking at each other and talking to each other, I felt some feisty chemistry between the two of them. That's all I'm saying. But Shiki's a very, very fun character. I love his VA. I love the idea of just how psycho he is. I don't know what it was exactly, if it was supposed to be intimidating. They seemed very confident, and it's really hard to tell what's impressive in this world when we have as broken of a character as Makoto, but they like float off the air like a foot. Half a foot maybe, like, I don't know, a couple feet, but like they weren't floating like gracefully. They're kind of like unbalanced, and I'm like, is this intimidating? Like, what are they doing? Like, what is the point of this? And I don't think anyone really knew, but they got blasted 100 feet in the air, and the fact that Shiki was willing to let them fall to their death, because the one dude was still kind of levitating, so he was holding on to the other 3, and they were trying to brace their fall, but like they were gonna die. And honestly, I wasn't gonna shed a tear if that happened. Just like, I don't really know them, but they didn't give me a strong first impression. And honestly, they're probably just going to be a hindrance in the future. Even if they can't actually hurt us, they're just going to be annoyance. So just get Team Rocket out of the way early. But, you know, he let them live as good as possible. I'm surprised they're not paralyzed from the waist down given that fall, but still, I love that stuff. I love the comedy with them, and the fact that, you know, as much as Shiki tries to hook her boy Makoto up, somehow we still got roped into a teacher exam, and honestly, that was pretty great. I like the fact that I didn't even think about it, right? Because, like, when you see the three colors, I'm like, oh, we need one of each. That makes a lot of sense. And I thought I didn't even consider it because when you think about it, he's so overpowered that he has to restrict himself, otherwise the gems all break. So I'm thinking, oh, most people, yeah, you know, not everyone's going to be the same archer as they are melee-wise, but people can learn how to do that. They only need 3 of 1. Like, that's all it is. Like, maybe some person has done 2 in 1, couple melee, 1 archery or something, but the fact that he struggled, and he almost failed, right? Like, he probably had an hour or 2, I'm gonna say an hour of sunlight left on the last day. He comes back, the other 3 looking pissed off, and he's like, yeah, I did it, and he has all 3. And it's like, the extra work he made for himself didn't need to happen this way. As soon as he figured out how to do the bow trick in terms of, like, grazing it with the side of the feather, he could have just did 2 more of those and called it a day, and instead exposes himself for being absolutely broken and just making his life a lot harder than it needs to be. And the fact that on, like, the last day or whatever, because he always puts that barrier up when he's sleeping or whatever, and we see a couple of times animals, you know, try to get in and then he just tosses them away. Bandit tried the same thing, and despite it actually poisoning his hand, I don't know, man, there's something about characters in these types of shows. Why do you talk smack? Whether it's the group in the market area where they're like, I'll get you. Boy, you just got dropped on your head and almost killed, and you're trying to still threaten the people that could clearly body you. That's not smart. Or an assassin dude who comes in, stabs him. Like, at first, he throws daggers, and all he does is put up his arm, and they bounce off. They ricochet. That alone should get you to say, oh shit, who am I dealing with? But the fact that as he tries to stab, he holds the poison blade. Yeah, it poisons him, but he crushes it. Like, if the person you're trying to kill has the vice grip of death, don't make any more threats. If you want to kill him, sure, power to you, but don't talk smack. The only person who has the ability to talk smack is the dude who's crushing blades like it's paper. But leave it to anime characters, man. You know, between Team Rocket and this wannabe killer, they think they're gonna get the jump on our boy, and our boy's basically brushing shit off like it's a bumblebee that just stung. And I'm like, I love this show. This was, without a doubt, the most charming and fun episode of Season 2, but like I said, I liked episodes 2 and 3. I am excited to see the other hero stuff more in the future, but honestly, the whole teacher arc exam is honestly a situation I wasn't expecting, and it's gonna be pretty fun to see where they go, because you know, teacher Makoto just standing up there on the whiteboard just trying to make people read, and how out of place he's gonna feel, and if he has to end up teaching the people he just bodied, oh, that's gonna be even better. Let me know what you thought of Tsukimichi Season 2, Episode 4 down below. Did you find it just as funny and entertaining as me? And if you were one of the people who maybe weren't feeling the hero stuff in the previous 2 episodes, is this an episode that gets it more on track for you? Let me know how you're feeling down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we have that full live reaction over on my Patreon, and while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we have Tran Nugan, Ed Ray Z, Devin Mitchell, and Tony X. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care and have a good one.